The Paracave Podcast, brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club in the club shop, perfect for those footy finals. So head into the club shop, grab your Jack's Pale Ale, and also co-sponsors the Stubby Club. Use your 10% discount code PARACAVE at checkout for a 10% discount on a huge range of sports merch and gifts to choose from. And also Bo Cook from Loan Market, your local Penrith mortgage expert. Contact Bo and his team, or contact Bo today on 0401 213 236 and get in contact today for a free chat and see what Bo and his team can do for you, and let him know that you heard it here on the Paracave Podcast. And also,
listeners, my name is Shannon Cooney from Merrick Property Group Real Estate Agency and a very proud sponsor of the Paracave Podcast. If you own a property in the Penrith LGA or Lower Blue Mountains and would like to know what it's worth in today's market, give me a call on 0421 588 445.
hello and welcome, broadcasting live from the Paracave, a very special episode of the Paracave Podcast. It's a grand final episode this week. It's episode number 113, a very special episode as I said, it is a grand final 2022 with the Parramatta Eels taking on the Penrith Panthers, and also in the NRLW, the Parramatta Eels taking on the Newcastle Knights. Broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave, I will be your host, Mr. Troy Warner, this week and every week here in the Paracave. So join me for a very special episode. We've got a jam-packed episode, something a little bit different this week. It's not a player interview. It's not a it's not a player interview. It's not a fan or member interview. It is just simply a lot of what are we going to hear from today? In no particular order, we're going to hear from Hayden Knowles, who has worked at both the Parramatta Eels and the Penrith Panthers and has been involved in grand finals at both those clubs. Champion bloke, Hayden Knowles. We're also going to hear from four-time premiership winner and legend of the Parramatta Eels, Mr. Brett Kenny, with his thoughts about last week's win against the Cowboys, also grand final week, and some of his little experiences, and also the game against the Panthers. And we're going to have our regular contributor over the last couple of weeks over the finals, and that is the premiership winning coach, Shane Flanagan, as well. He will also talk about his experiences grand final week, also the game against the Cowboys, and also a preview for the big game against the Panthers at Accor Stadium. We're also going to hear, I've got some fan messages of congratulations and best wishes. I thought this week I'd do something a little bit different, and I'd get the fans of Parramatta. I put the call out on various groups, Facebook groups and whatever, and message a few fanatical Eels fans, and they've sent in some messages of congratulations and also best wishes for both the men's and women's Parramatta Eels teams competing in this week's grand finals. Also, we've got some special messages from the CEO, Mr. Jim Sarantinos, the captain of the Parramatta Eels NRLW team, Simaima Taufa, and also co-captain of the Parramatta Eels NRL team, Mr. Junior Paulo. A lot to get through. Let's get into it. Let's start off by talking about the preliminary final against the Cowboys last week. Now, I was unlucky. I wasn't fortunate enough to get up to Townsville last week for the game, so I and many hundreds joined together at the Parramatta Leagues Club to watch the game. I was up in level 3, Jack's Bar and Grill, watching the game, as I said, with hundreds of others as well. Look, I'm not going to talk too much about the game, as I'm not a massive rugby league expert, but these are just my personal thoughts. And anyway, we started off well. A little bit of conjecture about the first try to Will Penasini. Look, sitting there watching it, I was excited that the try was scored and confirmed. I did think there was going to be that little doubt of a forward pass, which we have seen called by Graham Annesley this week, that it was a forward pass and it shouldn't have been ruled a try, but at the time it was ruled a try. And so Parramatta got off to the great start, got off to the magnificent start that they needed to get to, and they just went on from there. Look, it was 12-all at half time, and it was still anybody's game. Still anybody's game at that point. During that half, Mitchell Moses unfortunately kicked out on the full a couple of times. People were questioning what is on his mind. We found out just before the start of the game that he found out that his partner, Bree, had their baby daughter, Aspen. So congratulations to Mitchell and Bree on the birth of Aspen as well. So we thought maybe that might have been playing on his mind. Big game, trying to get Parramatta into the grand final. But he composed himself, and his kicking game in the second half came back, and those kicks out in the full were forgotten. The Cowboys took a 20-12 lead into the second half, and there was a little bit of a lull in the Leagues Club. It went a little bit quiet. We were thinking, oh no, what's going on here? But the boys dug deep, and RCG got the second of his tries on the night, and got back to 2018. And we thought, okay, we're back in the grind here. We're going to get close to getting to victory here. And then unfortunately Mitchell missed that goal kick, which thought it was a relatively, gettable kick. But they still, as I said, got back, composed themselves, and then Sean Lane with that great pass to Micah Sevo, and he scores out wide, and Mitchell converts for a 24-20 lead. Now that last, what could you say, 5 minutes, but especially for myself personally, that last minute of play was absolutely nerve-wracking, gut-wrenching. It was, you name it, every emotion under the sun. It was just the seconds were going down, the Cowboys were on the attack, and you thought, just hang on. But as soon as Bailey Simonson came up with the ball, kicked it into the crowd, that full-time hooter went. I and myself and hundreds, the whole Leagues Club just erupted. I think they erupted with cheers and jeers, knowing that Parramatta was into the grand final, and then those cheers and jeers slowly turned to some very emotional scenes with grown men and ladies as well, with tears of joy in their eyes. And as we saw in the Channel 9 coverage as well, with that supporter, I think his name Paul, I think it is, just how much it meant to him up there in Townsville in the coverage, also meant to many others at the Leagues Club as well. So after the game, it all spewed out into the car park of Parramatta Leagues Club and just out the front doors there of Parramatta Leagues Club. And there was cheering, there was chants, there was car horns going off all the way along O'Connell Street. It was chaotic scenes and it was great scenes. Parramatta were in the first team into the grand final. It'll be memories that I'll never ever forget. And for those at the Leagues Club and also fortunate enough to be at in Townsville, but also watching the game at home as well, there'll be memories that Eels fans never ever forget. So my thoughts about the game against Penrith, well, they're calling it the Battle of the West. This is the fourth time, actually fifth time if you include trials, but fourth time in the season that we have come together. Parramatta have got those victories during the regular season. They beat Penrith at Bluebet Stadium to end their winning streak there, and also the game where Nathan Cleary was sent off for a dangerous tackle as well. So 2 wins there. Penrith got Parramatta in the qualifying final, 27-8 at Bluebet Stadium. Look, that was a very close tussle as well. I think, and again, my personal opinion is that Mitchell Moses, when he suffered that HIA, and went off the field and didn't return, we probably didn't recover that much for that game. Unfortunately, Penrith scored a couple of tries there and just went on to win that game. Nevertheless, Parramatta went on to beat Canberra and then beat the Cowboys in that prelim final, and we're now playing Penrith as well. So there's going to be some really big matchups in this game. The 2 fullbacks of each club, Clint Gutherson and Dylan Edwards, that's going to be one to watch. The front rowers as well for both clubs, James Fisher-Harris and Moses Leota for the Panthers, and of course Regan Campbell-Gillard and Junior Paulo for the Parramatta Eels. That's going to be a cracker to watch as well. So wherever you look, the halves obviously as well, Mitchell Moses and Dylan Brown, that's going to be a great matchup to watch. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a cracker. It's a sold out stadium at Accor Stadium. The Blue and Gold Army is going to get out there and fill it. It's going to be so spectacular. The atmosphere is going to be great. It's going to be tough to beat Penrith, but it's going to be a great game. It's so good for the western suburbs of Sydney that this grand final is happening. As I said, you'll hear it numerous times during the week. You probably already have, but it's the Battle of the West. Don't you just love that? 2 Western Sydney teams in the grand final. Massive for Western Sydney, the whole area of Western Sydney, and I can't wait. But again, you don't want to hear from me. You don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from the experts. I'll give you my tips. I think it's going to be 22-14. I think Will Penasini is going to score the first try as well, and I'm going to go Sean Lane as Clive Churchill medal winner. He had an outstanding game against the Cowboys. I think he can back it up again and win that medal, and then also book his place on the plane to England for the World Cup. It's going to be a cracker. I'm going to be out there at Accor Stadium for the women's game and obviously the men's game afterwards as well. It's going to be a busy day, starting off in Parramatta and then making my way and our way to the stadium. So if you see me, pop in, say hello, say g'day. Love talking to Para fans, and we'll catch up on grand final day. But you don't want to hear from me blabble on. You want to hear from the experts. You want to hear from the fans as well. So we'll start off with the first person you'll hear from is Hayden Knowles. As I said, He was the superior trainer at Parramatta, the head of performance at Parramatta, at the 2001 grand final and 2009 grand final, and he's also experienced the other side of things as well at the Panthers, winning the premiership last year in 2021 with the Panthers as well. So he's got an aspect on both clubs, and a few ideas as to what both clubs are going to go through in the grand final week and the game as well. So a very interesting little chat with Hayden. So let's get into that one now. And joining me on the podcast now is a champion of a fella who's got or has had a foot in both camps, actually. Parramatta in the early days in 01 and 09 grand finals, and also the Penrith Panthers in 2020 and 2021 as well. He's a regular contributor to the podcast, my first ever guest on the podcast. Welcome to the Parracave podcast, Hayden Knowles.
Thanks, Troy, mate. Great to be back, and it was great to see you and a few of your crew there at Paris Stadium. I keep still calling it Paris Stadium, which brings back great memories for me. But I saw you guys there, and I was watching the game actually with your opposition coach this week. I was with Ivan Cleary when we bumped into you. We were watching Para Melbourne, and but it was great to see you and quite a few familiar faces that no doubt are having the week of your life at the moment. So well done, mate. I love the passion you have for your team, and I'm sure a few of your listeners that are listening, I really respect their passion for the Eels.
Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. Now, let's start off with grand final week. So, as I said, you're with the Eels in 01 and 09, the Panthers in 2020 and 21. 21 was a little bit different because of the COVID bubble year, so the season moved up to Queensland. What sort of a week can the players expect in both camps?
Yeah, well, all those games you mentioned are very different, to be honest. Last year, Penrith one was very, very powerful from a family perspective. Everyone had their families staying in camp up there on the Sunshine Coast, and we lived in each other's pockets for 3 months, and those memories and those connections were very powerful, and they proved to be powerful on the day. Even the Penrith management had a whole family photo covering the dressing room wall. My kids still have that photo on the fridge at home,
Nice.
So the connections were very powerful. I mean, even the celebrations were usually they're crazy celebrations, but they were in-house ones with family members and children and wives and partners present that are priceless times. Then I think back of the previous year was different. We had a lot of COVID restrictions. Players couldn't go anywhere. Fan days were different. A lot of restrictions. I even think the stadium wasn't even at capacity that game against Melbourne, where this week the stadium is going to be rocking. That will be the best atmosphere since. Oh wow! At that stadium, I remember the 09 prelim Para Eels versus Bulldogs. That was the best atmosphere I've been in a regular season game or playoff game. That was the week before the grand final against Melbourne.
Yep.
I'm picturing that on steroids this week. Penrith Parramatta, that's going to be crazy. So that 09 team of Parramatta, the energy and the community support of that year, even after the loss, I remember the support the boys got back at Paraleagues Club was crazy after that game. So I've seen some stuff on social media this week of what's happening, and I can't imagine the energy down there. Well, I can imagine it, but both teams, like I've seen the reactions of the Parramatta fans, and I've seen the reaction of the Penrith fans. It's going to be crazy. Then you've reminded me then of the 01 team, and that was that was totally different.
Yep.
We went away. We got out of town for the week, which in hindsight, I may look back on now, probably wishing we did lap it up and did enjoy the support. But yeah, there's 4 very different weeks, so I'm not sure what the Eels are doing. I know the Penrith, led by Ivan, he loves being a source of community pride out there in Penrith, and I'm pretty sure they'll be lapping it up. And then I heard Brad talk about lapping up the scenes in Parramatta, so I'm sure they've already watched all your guys' videos and seen how much it means to the fans. So what a week, mate. It's a promoter's dream. Like it's going to be crazy. The energy that the players will feed off, they really do feed off your energy. So it's going to be crazy.
Oh, absolutely. As you said, a promoter's dream, the first time that Parramatta's played Penrith in a grand final. With the training during the week, is it more laid back sort of training because you've had that hard training throughout the week, or does nothing sort of change?
Well, players and staff are very routine by that part of the year. They've worked out what works for them, what doesn't work for them. So, and you'd like to think the quality is the best it's ever been. They're really coming to a peak. But in saying that, last year's Penrith team, what they had to deal with on the grand final week, they had that many injuries and players playing busted that, where you thought you might get your best quality, it was, what, we're just going to have to deal with whatever gets thrown at us. And
Yep.
They had to deal with what was in the bank. I'm not sure where Parramatta are at health-wise. They seem like they have a healthy squad, so I'm sure they'll go back to their routines. They've got a really good staff that have handled everything well. I mean, you only had to see how they handled the game in North Queensland and coming from behind, mentally and physically, they are well prepared and deserve to be there. And then that's the same with Penrith. They've got a world-class staff, a world-class team that, again, showed coming from behind, mentally handled it well and physically handled it extremely well. So you've got the 2 best teams physically and mentally that have earned their way there, which just, again, builds for a cracking game. And then you've got the matchups of, I just can't wait to see the matchups of
There's
fullbacks.
some crackers, isn't there?
I've got kids that are fullbacks that sit back studying those 2 players. That try saver from Clint Gutherson the other night.
Amazing.
Those are players that I look at and my kids will be learning from. And then you got Dylan Edwards, who's just the benchmark in that area of competitiveness and fitness. And I've been lucky enough to have Gutho in some Origin camps, and he's the same type of character, the same type of qualities that his teammates love is the same that Dylan Edwards gives. They're the rocks of their team defensively. So what a matchup! And then you could go across the whole team, Troy, couldn't you? Both lists.
Yeah, definitely. You got Nathan Cleary up against Mitchell Moses, Dylan Brown against Jerome Luai. The front rows, that's going to be a massive battle.
Yeah, cracking game. And I made sure I've already messaged some of the boys from Origin camps.
Yep.
After their game, I was really happy for Junior Paulo to see him after the game and the emotion and see him with his kids on the field there. So, then I saw Gutho post something about Mitch Moses, and I couldn't help but send him a message saying #respect, because, there is, as much as, I've got very close ties with, obviously, the Panthers, and, I hope you're not going to ask me who I'm following because it's on a Para podcast, but, I can't shy away from my support for the Panthers. Being so recent and having such connections with that team, their current staff, who are like family to me. So, but I also can't shy away from being supportive of some of those guys at the Eels that I've had in Origin camps. But I could not how could you not respect what Mitch Moses went through last week?
Absolutely.
He lost a family member, and then he sacrificed the birth of his child, and he has the highest respect from so many people. But that takes it to another level as well, which I'm sure his team drew upon and Brad would have drawn upon. And yeah, it's just such a cracker of a game. And yeah, I knew I kind of answered your next question. I'm sure you're going to ask me who am I tipping or going for, but.
Look, because I know you got a foot in both camps, and Penrith most recently, I'll assume that you're probably just sitting on the fence and maybe thinking that rugby league will be the winner on the night, because there'll be 82,500 full capacity at Accor Stadium, and Western Sydney will be rocking on grand final night. So I'm assuming you'll be on the fence and supporting rugby league.
Well, that's a very politically correct answer when you're on a Para podcast, but. I will be honest, and I never shy away from being honest, and I know your listeners would actually respect it anyway. When you go through things with a team, and you get to that level, grand final level, they are a real family, and the Penrith family are family to me, and that's who I'm cheering for. But in saying that, it's if they weren't there, then I would have a soft spot for Parramatta, like I do.
Yeah.
I'm a life member of that club where there are great memories and great friends from way back. But within the current teams, obviously Panthers are very close to me, but I wish Parramatta the best, and I know there's a very healthy respect I have for everyone at Parramatta, their staff, quite a few of the players that I've had in the rep camps, and people like you, mate. Like, I even bumped into some Eels fans that I haven't seen for a while, and I bumped into them at the Eels-Panthers game the other week, and it was great to see them and catch up with them. And then there's still Para supporters that I'm in touch with on the social media, So, yeah, there's a lot of respect there, mate.
That's great to hear. Well, Hayden Knowles, thank you very much for your insights there and your thoughts on the game and what we can maybe expect on Sunday. I hope you enjoy the game, and thank you once again for joining me.
No problem. Hey, Troy, can I ask you your tips? You've always got a prediction. I see you on the social media, and I honestly, mate, I love those videos that you posted, how raw that emotion was after the game. I've seen them, but I want to hear your tips at least before you hang up on me.
Okay, that's okay. Well, obviously, I'm going to go for Parramatta to win.
And you live in Penrith.
And I live in Penrith, so it's going to be a hectic week, grand final week for myself.
Yes.
I think I'm going to go. I haven't seen the weather forecast, but I think I'm going to go 20-16.
Right.
I'll go Will Penasini first try scorer. I'll stick with him. And the Clive Churchill's going to be a hard one, because I think it's going to be the 6 and the 7 who control the game. So that's obviously Dylan and Mitchell. Very rarely does it go to a losing side. But, the way that Sean Lane and Isaiah Papali'i played the other night, you can't go past them either. So,
why weren't they good?
Yeah, that's it. I think Mitchell will be the favourite amongst Parramatta fans to get that Clive Churchill. But yeah, it's going to be difficult to win it, obviously, with all those other players.
Okay.
So
Well, there you go. We've heard it here first.
Certainly have. Once again, Hayden, thank you very much for joining me. Really appreciate it.
No problem, mate.
Well, thank you very much, Hayden, for your insights there into both the clubs of Parramatta and Penrith and grand final week. I really appreciate your time and the chat there. Let's move on now to four-time premiership winner and Eels legend, Bert Brett Kenny. Spoke to him as well about the same sort of things, about grand final week, about the win against the Cowboys, and also what we need to do, what Parramatta need to do against the Panthers as well. So let's get into that chat with the legend, Brett Kenny. And on the line on the podcast now, we've got full-time premiership winner and Eels legend, Brett Kenny on the line. How are you going, Brett?
No, mate, not too bad. Just in the middle, a bit excited, waiting for the weekend to come.
Yeah, absolutely. How good is it? Big Battle of the West coming up on Sunday at Accor Stadium. Well, just before we get into that one, what were your thoughts about the prelim final against the Cowboys up there in Queensland?
Yeah, look, they went really well. I mean, they made a few mistakes. It's something they're probably going to look at. Their completion rate was probably not as great as they'd like it to be, but they're things they can work on this week. But because if you do that against Penrith, obviously you're not going to win the game. But look, I thought they showed a lot of character to be able to come back from where they were, and I think that puts them in good stead for this weekend. Playing the Cowboys up there in Townsville is a tough assignment, and then to be behind like they were and come back, it's just phenomenal effort.
Yeah, definitely, and they got the win up there in Townsville, which means they booked their spot. They were the first team to book their spot into the grand final against Penrith. Let's get into the big game this week. First of all, what do you think the players and coaches could expect during this week? How will their week sort of pan out?
Well, look, it's obviously a lot different to what it was back when I was playing, but obviously they're going to have the grand final breakfast. So there's a lot of commitments around the place, also with the media. So it will be interesting. That's something that I've sort of taken a bit of interest in to see how these guys, because I think there's only 2 players in the Parramatta squad that have actually been involved in an NRL grand final. So we've got a lot of guys that this is going to be all new to them, as well as the coach and the coaching staff. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle the situation. It's going to be very difficult not to get caught up in the hype. Doesn't matter where you go, obviously around Parramatta, people are going to be talking about this weekend's game. And as much as you would like to keep it low-key, it's very hard to do. But I just hope that the players don't get caught up in it too much and go through the game and actually play the game well before Sunday. You don't want that. You want them to be able to concentrate and forget about everything else and just worry about what's the job at hand on the weekend.
I caught up with your old teammate Steve Eller after the game outside Parramatta Leagues Club, and he was saying that hopefully the players have seen the scenes outside the Leagues Club and in and around Parramatta, just to show them what it means for them winning that game means to the fans, which was great of him to say, and I hope they did see that. Were you a fan of grand final week and all the attention and stuff on that on the teams?
Oh, look, yeah, I mean, you've got to, as I said before, you've got to embrace it. You've got to enjoy it. I mean, it's something back in '81. It was something that I'd never experienced before, and as much as you'd like to try and keep it low key, it was very difficult at the time. In '81, I was working at Parramatta Leagues Club at the Sullivan, so you can imagine what it was like walking through the club. Everyone wanted to talk about the grand final. So it's one of those things, you've got to try and enjoy it as much as you can, but you've got to be, as I said earlier, be able to switch on and switch off and say, okay, well, that's all well and good having a chat to people. That's nice, and let them know how you're feeling and answer their questions. But at the end of it all, you're there to win a grand final and you're there to perform, and you need to concentrate once you get back on the training paddock. This is what we've got to do.
Alrighty, let's get into the grand final against Penrith. Now, Penrith have been the form team for the last 3 years. They're last year's premiers. Parramatta played them in week 1 of the finals. What do you think they need to learn from that week 1 loss?
Well, I just think we need to be able to they're going to have to cut down their errors. That's one of the big problems. If you make too many errors against the Panthers, they're such a good side, they will make you pay. I mean, you've only got to look at what happened with South. They were leading 12-0, and Penrith still came away with a win and ended up winning very comfortably. So I think, what they've got to learn is they've got to keep playing for the full 80 minutes, try to get a very good completion rate, a high percentage of completion rate, and cut down the number of errors. I know there's a lot of talk about trying to bring down Cleary with his kicking game, but I think sometimes you don't want to get caught up too much involved in that and concentrating too much on that, forgetting about everyone else. So obviously they'll have a game plan in regards to that, and hopefully they can just do that. And I think one of the important things is just to try and stick to your game plan. You find in a game final in particular, because it's obviously the last game of the season, teams will get behind and they'll start to panic a bit, and they'll move away from their game plan because they think we need to do something special. I just think if they can keep to their game plan and not panic, it gives them more of an opportunity to come away with a victory.
Now, you mentioned there the pressure on Nathan Cleary and his kicking game. What are your thoughts of the inclusion of Nathan Brown on the bench?
Well, look, I think it's a good thing. We just got to hope that he doesn't get too carried away and give away too many penalties or finish up being sent to the bin, or even worse, being sent off. But obviously he's there to sort of unsettle the Panthers a little, and if possible, try and keep knocking up Nathan Cleary over from his kicking game. I guess I would probably like to have seen another forward on the bench in these sort of games. I really don't think that someone like Mitchell Moses or Dylan Brown will be coming off the field unless they get seriously hurt. So I would have liked to have seen another forward on the bench so we could. It's going to be a tough game, a very physical game. I think you need to try and use 4 forwards on the bench and use them throughout the game, give the other blokes a bit of a breather.
What are the key matchups that you're excited to see in Sunday's game?
Well, obviously the half-backs, Cleary and Moses, both control the play. I also think, both halves actually, Dylan Brown as well, and Luai. It'll be interesting to see how both those guys perform. On the forwards, obviously we would be looking for Campbell Gillard to perform well up against probably Fisher Harris and also Junior Paulo. These are the guys that have to lay the foundation for the team. And I think too, the fullbacks are going to play a big part in it. Dylan Edwards was playing exceptionally well last week, and Clint Gutherson's been playing well all season. So that'd be a good matchup at all.
Now, I'm not going to ask you for a tip for the game because I know that you'll be going Parramatta for sure. Have you got a score prediction at all?
Oh, jeez. I think it'll be pretty tight. I think they're probably, 18-12.
Yeah.
Parramatta.
Yeah. What about a prediction for the Clive Churchill medal winner?
Probably Mitchell Moses.
Mitchell Moses. And where are you going to be watching the game on Sunday?
What was that, sorry?
Whereabouts are you going to be watching the game? Are you going to be there?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm up on the Gold Coast for a couple of days doing some functions. I arrive back on Sunday at about 2:30 in Newcastle, so I've got to find out whether I can get parking or whatever and be able to get down there. So hopefully I will be able to. It'd be nice to be at the ground, but if I can't, I'll definitely be watching it on TV.
Nice one. Well, Brett, you're a legend of Parramatta. Thank you very much for joining the Paracave podcast once again, and giving us, the listeners, your thoughts on the grand final coming up. I can't wait. It's going to be a massive game on Sunday. So thank you very much for joining me once again.
Thanks very much, Troy. It was a pleasure.
Well, thank you very much, Brett, for your contribution to this special grand final edition podcast of the Parramatta podcast. Really appreciate your time there and your chat. Now it's time for premiership winning coach and regular contributor over the final series. It's time for Mr. Shane Flanagan. Let's get into his thoughts and hear what he has to say. And joining me once again on the podcast is premiership winning coach Shane Flanagan, who I think has been the lucky charm over the final series. How are you going today, Shane?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty pumped and excited about the weekend coming up, the big grand final.
I bet you are.
Battle of the West. Just quickly, before we get into that, the preliminary final against the Cowboys, what did you see as the pleasing thing about that win for the Eels?
Yeah, I did that game for Fox. I thought it was, obviously it was all about the second half for Parramatta, but, the first half, there were some strange things happen. Mitchell Moses kicked out in the full twice, which, you probably don't see all year, and I thought that Parra were a little bit off, and the Cowboys were definitely had the better of them in the first half. But, come the second half, the Parramatta were just perfect with their completions. I think they were 12 from 12 at one stage, and they just managed the second half a lot better. And, Sean Lane and Papali'i were way too strong on the edges. There were some really good decisions by Sean Lane about, when to run and when to pass and so on. So, and obviously the two front rowers were outstanding again, so it was real clinical performance and real resilience in the second half, just to not drop their bundle after what happened to them in the first half, and to come out and win that football game. And that's what semi-finals are about, you just got to hang in there, and they did that. And then, a bit of form and a bit of attitude changed in the second half, and they won the game pretty convincingly in the end.
Do you think there would be any concerns coming out of that game at all?
No, not really. I think, every semi-final throws up some different, situations, whether it's just Mitchell Moses kicking out on the full, as I said, which you don't see too often. So, that's the pressure of semi-final football. And, I think, they didn't handle it that well in the first half, Parramatta, but, as I said, in the second half, they were fantastic.
Now, you're a premiership winning coach, and as we're having this chat, we're in the middle of grand final week. What do you think the players and coaches can expect throughout the rest of this week?
The week flies. It goes really quick. Obviously you play your game, and then all of a sudden you realise you're in the grand final, and you go back and celebrate it with your family and friends and so on, and then you've got to knuckle down and get ready for the game, and it just goes so quick. You have a lot of commitments. We don't have the footy show anymore, but they have a lot of, the grand final launch, and then you have open training sessions and so on. So it is a big week. Dally M's tonight, I think, which, most of the team will go to. So it's a big week, and it just goes so quickly, and you blink and it's gone. So they just need to enjoy it. But obviously get prepared as well. So they've done a good job so far. So just hopefully, cross our fingers, they can do it again.
All right, we'll get to the big game against the Panthers, the grand final at Accor Stadium on Sunday. And what do you think Parramatta need to learn or take from the week one qualifying final, which they lost?
I don't think, obviously there'll be a few, technical things that Brad will look at, and obviously highlight, probably more so about, Nathan Cleary's kicking game, that game. He targeted, the right-hand side of Parramatta, so they need to be better on that. Obviously put a bit more kick pressure. It's hard to get kick pressure on Nathan because he does have some good supporting forwards around him, and then, they just need to probably, if there's one thing they need to fix up is, defending Nathan Cleary's kicks. They dropped too many on that day. They're going to be going to Wanga Blake. They're going to go Gutherson. They're going to be going everywhere. So you just need to defend them a lot better. And if they can do that, and then just play the way they've been playing, they're going to put themselves in the game. That's for sure.
Now, you've said it over the last couple of weeks that the key matchups are the forward battles. Is this another key battle, key matchup in this game?
Yeah, without a doubt. James Fisher-Harris, Junior Paulo. I think it's, Regan Campbell-Gillard up against his old club. There's so many matchups, but, the two starting front rows for Penrith versus the two starting front rows for Parramatta is crucial, how they go. I think the hookers have got a big job. Api Coruscant is crafty and he's got a lot of, show and go. He comes off the bench. He lets the heat go out of the game and he comes off the bench. So that's going to be important. And Reid Marnie has been so good for Parramatta. His passing's been excellent. And then, defensively he's good and, he's always supporting up the middle of the field. So that's important. And then the two edge back rowers are crucial especially for Parramatta. I thought, Sean Lane, the way he played, he probably won the game to get the team into the grand final last week. So if he has another performance like that and, just puts so much pressure on Jerome Luai defensively. That'll be Nathan on that side. Make Nathan make as many tackles as he can on that side. It takes some petrol. Nathan's human. He's going to fatigue if he has to make a lot of tackles. So that'd be a tactic and get big Sean Lane running him as many times as he can. So, I think there's battles all over the field. There's two informed halves sets. So, and the fullbacks are sensational footballers as well. So I'm really looking forward to our super game.
Now, you've just covered all the danger players for the Panthers. What are your thoughts about the inclusion of Nathan Brown on the bench?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, most teams do carry the three forwards and only one outside back. And then and I think Cartwright, can cover some outside back positions, but he's probably not that go forward type of player. He's got the skill concept. He could, if they need to score some points, maybe Cartwright would have been the right option. But anyway, Brad's gone that way, and he's definitely gone for a more of a power impact player. And how he uses it, I'm not quite sure whether it's we mightn't get on to the second half, and it just might be a short stint, but might depend how the game's going as well. So it'll just be really interesting to see how Brad uses him, and if he uses him in the first half.
And just a quick one about the referee. Is Ashley Klein the referee that you would have liked to have had if you were coaching, or would you have gone for Grant Atkins?
I'll try not to worry too much about who's the referee. You just got to get on with it. They're out there doing their best, and the players are always going to test them. And there's always going to be. It's the game's so fast, and there's so much going on. 26 players just going as hard as they can at each other, and you're not going to get everything right. And it's probably more for me that the bunker get it right rather than the referee gets it right. So the referee's out there got a lot of jobs to do, a lot of things to look at. I'm sure he'll do a good job.
And now the hard part: who's your tip in the game?
Oh, I'm definitely hoping Parramatta win.
Yep.
I think they definitely can do it. They've got to play their best game of the year without a doubt. They've got to be clinical. They've got to have possession. They've got to be strong, and then every opportunity they've got to take. Where to beat Penrith, Penrith are a class side. They've been in, this is their third grand final, so they know what it's about. And they're not going to get overruled by the occasion. Where Parramatta got to make sure that they focus on the game rather than the occasion. And if they can do that, and no one loses their head, and they get their head straight into the game, I think they can definitely win. They've definitely got the forward power, and they've got the halves to do it. And as I said, edge back rolls, full back. So there's stars right across the park.
You brave enough to do a score prediction?
Mate, I think it'll be about like 24-18 or 24-20, something like that.
Yeah.
There'll be some points scored, but it's not going to be a blowout. I wouldn't think it'd be in the 30s at all. Yeah,
and a Clive Churchill medal winner. Who do you think can take that one away?
Well, mate, I just think whoever wins the halfback's going to be the Clive Churchill winner. I just think they have so much of an impact on both of these teams. And we all know Nathan with Penrith, how good his kicking game is, his running game. Yeah, they've got some other players in their team that they rely on as well. But if Penrith win, he'll be a good chance to get it. And if Parramatta win, Mitchell Moses will be a real good chance of getting it. So I'll be having a couple of dollars on either of those two.
Nice. And where will you be watching the game? Will you be commentating for Fox?
I've got the women's game, so I'm really looking forward to that. Parramatta in that as well. So Parramatta Newcastle, I'm calling that game for Fox. So really looking forward to that game. I think the women's game's just come on in leaps and bounds, and Parramatta in that. So they're up against Newcastle, who are probably favourites to win, but Parramatta, who knows? They've just come the last couple of weeks, come from nowhere, and all of a sudden find themselves in a grand final.
Well, hopefully Parramatta can pull off the double on Sunday. Shane Flanagan, thank you very much for joining me this week, and hopefully we can talk to you next week about a premiership.
That'd be nice. Good luck.
Thanks, Shane.
See you, mate.
Well, thank you very much, Shane, for your time and your chat there and your thoughts about the Cowboys game and also the upcoming grand final against the Panthers as well. And thank you for contributing to the show over the final series. I really appreciate your time and your chats. I really found them insightful. Thank you for your time. And also, I thank Hayden and Brett as well for their chats as well. Thank you very much for contributing to this grand final edition podcast. Now we're going to roll in to some of the fans' messages of congratulations and best wishes. If you've contributed to this section of the podcast, I really thank you for sending those messages through. I really appreciate that one. See if you can pick your voice out there. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to get the fans involved. I wanted to get, because this premiership, this game on Sunday is as much about the fans as it is the players. So, the players and the coaches. So I really wanted to get the fans involved in this, and hopefully this can get passed on to the club, and hopefully to the team as well. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to send me messages via social media and play them on the podcast. So I hope you enjoy them as well, and let's get into the fans' messages.
Shannon Cooney here from Merrick Property Group, licensed real estate agent and proud sponsor of the Parramatta Cave podcast. Here today to wish the Mighty Eels all the very best. Go Gutho, go Junior, go Brad and team. All the very best in the 2022 Grand Final. Let's go.
And I have a few email best wishes and congratulations messages that I'll just read out now. The first one is from a Carl Jr. Aesi. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Hi, Troy and everyone at the Para Cave podcast. Emailing you from Hanu Bada Village, Port Moresby in PNG. Myself and a few uncles and cousins are massive Eels fans. Just want to send a shout out to all the Eels faithful and a big one to you. Looking forward to the grand final. Let's go, Para. Best wishes, Carl D. Aesi II. And the second one is from a Nigel Wilbo, a great guy. Know him personally. Been on his radio show. A great guy Nigel is. And his message is, it's been 36 years and the club has some great history from that time. But now it is time to create your own history. It's our time. Eels 2022. Bring it on. Go Para. Thanks, Nigel. And thanks, Carl, for your messages.
Hi, Troy and the Para Cave podcast. It's Mel Muscat here, fellow Eels lover. Congratulations and good luck on Sunday's double grand final appearance from the Eels men and women. How fabulous. Enjoy the week. Enjoy the day. Let's hope both teams can bring it home to paradise. Go Para.
Cookie here. Massive congratulations in order for both the men and the women for making the grand final. It's an honour that you're both able to represent the great club that is Parramatta in the big dance. It's also an honour for me to be able to be at the ground and witness history. Leave nothing behind, guys. Give it everything you've got and rip in. Us fans have got your back. We are the Eels. We're Parramatta. We'll beat them all. We'll win the cup.
And hi guys, Parramatta Prophet here, joining the podcast today for a shout out to both our teams. Before anything guys, I just want to thank all the fans for such a wonderful year. I loved entertaining you all and making those unbreakable bonds with so many new people. I'm deeply humbled by the Eels Army and the love shown. The feeling is mutual, guys. I can't wait to continue it. Now, guys, firstly, I want to say to our boys, now I know, guys, you aren't just taking on fierce opposition, but you carry the weight of 36 years. I pray you can all make it rain for us. All we ask as fans is do the best you can do. We love you all, and hopefully our voices from the stands can carry you guys over the line. Now, to our incredible women's team. Oh my God. I cried for our boys and I thought it couldn't get any better than this. Then you guys defeated Goliath and it destroyed me. I was ruined. I couldn't even put on makeup the next day. My eyes were so puffy. Thank you guys for never giving up. I love you all. Now, to both our teams, I will say, I'll just end it like this, guys. To both our teams, you're all 80 minutes away from writing your names in Eels history and folklore. Guys, we're going to do this. We're going to get the double. Let's do it, guys. Go for it! Go for it! Go for it!
G'day, Para fans. We're in the middle of grand final week. Yes, we are in the grand final for the men's and the women's this Sunday at Olympic Park. Let's hope that we can pull off a very, very big day for all the Para fans. We are El Eels. I am El Diablo.
And I'm El Demonio.
And we want all the Para fans to turn up on Sunday, the ones that have got tickets, with the colour, the excitement, the noise, everything.
So we can bring the boys home and the girls. We've waited too long. We are the best club in the NRL. We are the biggest club in the NRL. We've got the best fans in the NRL. So enough's enough. We've waited too long. 36 years. It's not fair. It's time to bring it home.
It's time.
Home on Sunday. It's time.
Come on, Para. Come on. Come on, fire up. Come on.
Come on.
Come on, bring it home. It's too long. Come on, see all you guys out there. Go the Eels.
Hey legends, Andy Raymond here. It's better than Christmas, New Year, birthday and anniversary all rolled into one. This year it's blue and gold times 2. To the men and women who are repping the colours of the jersey and us fans on Sunday at the Big Dance, I wish you nothing but safety and success. Both underdogs, both with huge mountains to climb, but both with an army behind them. To my fellow long-suffering supporters, enjoy the day wherever you're watching, cheer loud, stay supportive, and know they'll be doing their very best for the Blue and Golds.
Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate both teams, the men and the women, on the making the grand final. The mighty Blue and Gold, we're back. So I'll be cheering from Queensland, Burnett Heads, and Dad, our first international, Ian Johnston, I'm sure will be looking down on both teams as well. So go hard, boys and girls, and let's hope we get 2 victories. Cheers, guys.
Good luck, Eels, in the grand final. Go Para.
Yo, what's good, guys? It's Mr. Mullet, Facebook gaming partner. Just want to give a shout out to the Parramatta Eels Rugby League Club and also the Parramatta Eels NRLW team. Good luck in your grand final this weekend, guys, and let's go get those dubs. Let's go.
Hey, it's Carlin here, and I was just going to say I just wanted to wish the Parramatta Eels men's and women's team the best of luck in the grand final. I hope they can win it. I know they've got the good defence and attack, so hopefully it will continue in the grand final. So, yeah, thank you for that.
Hi, it's Darren Adam. Just a massive congratulations to the boys and to the ladies as well on both making it through to the grand final. Let's hope the boys can get revenge on the Panthers and the ladies on the Knights after they are robbed.
Hey, it's Matt. Just a massive congrats to the Eels NRL and WNRL teams on making their grand finals. Good luck and go Para.
I'm Judy Martin. I go for the Parramatta Eels. Good luck to the boys and good luck to the girls. Go Para.
And to finish the show, I just want to say my message, congratulations, and congratulations to both the men's and women's team, Parramatta Eels teams that have reached the grand finals in the NRL and the NRLW. I really wish you the best of luck on Sunday. I know that you're going to give it everything, and just wanted to let you guys know that the Blue and Gold Army we're right behind you. We know that you're going to give 110%, and you're going to do everything possible to win those premierships and then take them back to CommBank Stadium and celebrate with us fans. So congratulations on making the grand final, and best wishes. We support you. Go Para! Let's now hear some special messages relayed from the CEO, Mr. Jim Sarantinos, the captain of the women's NRLW team, the Parramatta Eels team, Simaima Taufa, and also the Parramatta Eels co-captain in the NRL, Mr. Junior Paulo. I thank you very much for your time sending those messages as well, and let's get into them.
Hi everyone, this is Jim Sarantinos, CEO of the Parramatta Eels. I just want to say a big thank you to all our fans and members. You've all been so loyal for so many years. You've been waiting a long time for a grand final, and this week we've got two teams playing in the big dance. So hopefully we come home with the double. Enjoy the week.
Hi, it's Simaima Taufa here, captain of the Parramatta Eels NRLW team. Thank you all for your support, the Blue and Gold Army, and hope to see you all out there loud and proud on Sunday, cheering us all on.
Yeah, hi, it's Junior Paulo here from the Parramatta Eels. Just wanted to thank the Blue and Gold Army for sticking by us for over countless years. I'm sure we'll be able to go out there and make them all proud, but most of all, we're definitely looking forward to seeing them all out there on Sunday.